Now that we've established how the Turtles mutated and became an amazing team, aren't you curious about their real origins? Welcome to the Complete Story Series. We take trade paperbacks and single issues and we break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then review it dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. This time, that's IDW. This story contains portions of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Volume 2 and Volume 3. Our story doesn't begin with the Turtles, nor does it begin with any mutations. It begins with Hamato Yoshi, a man that lived in feudal Japan. Yoshi is on the run from members of the Foot Clan led by Oroku Saki. Yoshi and Saki were once friends and allies in the Foot, but Saki chose to take control of the Foot and lead them down a power-hungry path of dishonor, domination, and destruction. When they were given the mission to assassinate the castle lord of a village, Saki decided to take the entire Foot against the entire village to send a proper message. Yoshi then stood up against this decision, and Saki took this as an act of defiance, an act of treason punishable by death. Yoshi was hoping that he could go home and save his family, but by the time that he arrived, the Foot had already gotten there and slaughtered his wife. He arrived at home just in time to scream in disbelief, "Devils, what have you done?" before killing each member of the Foot. He then held his wife in his arms one final time as she passed on, her last wish being not to fight against Saki, but to flee with their 4 boys to safety. And so, they left. They spent many years in hiding, training and growing together as a family. But eventually, Oroku Saki found them and bound each of them. As the tears welled up in the eyes of his sons, Hamato Yoshi prayed that he would be reunited with them again one day, and that someday he would get to face off with Saki again. As Yoshi watched his boys die, he then looked Saki coldly in his eyes and told him, "We will meet again, and I will destroy you." Saki told him, "Fool, we will never meet again," and he murdered Yoshi that day. A few things have happened since our last Turtle story, such as the invention of the Mouser robots by Stockman, and Hobbs, the mutated cat, being pushed out of his former team. During a battle with the Mousers, Hobbs has Splinter kidnapped so that Krang and his men can conduct experiments on him. But just before Krang and his men can arrive, Splinter is kidnapped from being kidnapped by ninjas wearing swords and masks. He was taken by Kirai of the Foot Clan and brought to Master Shredder. Kirai explains that the Foot Clan have existed for centuries, hidden in the deepest dark. They are assassins, thieves, warriors, ninja. Splinter doesn't even blink. "I know who you are." "Then do you know why you were brought here? A war is coming, one that will begin with the filthy streets of this city and then spread to engulf the entire world. A war for power and control. A war that the Foot Clan has planned for ages. We want to enhance our existing army with mutated soldiers of remarkable abilities. But before you have the opportunity to join us, a test." And Kirai cuts the cord holding Splinter captive before handing him a sword. Meanwhile, on the surface, the Turtles are trying to figure out what they need to do next. They've lost their home to the Mousers, they've lost their dad to ninjas, and they have no food or any of their gear. Back with Splinter, he easily drops the Foot soldiers with his ninja skills. But he shocks Shredder, because the fighting style that he is using is that of the Foot. In the end, he stands over the soldier, ready to kill him. Kirai informs him he is to kill the soldier or he will be killed himself. Back with the Turtles, April has brought them to an old shop that her family owns. They can stay here for a bit while they find Splinter. And back with Splinter, he turns the sword to Kirai and Shredder. "I will not kill this man. You defile the Foot Clan. I will not be a party to this disgrace." Shredder's eyes go even wider. "It cannot be. Hamato Yoshi? Oroku Saki?" Shredder removes his helmet, revealing Saki from all of those years ago. "Yes, it is. I would ask how you are here and in this form, but I did not rise from the dead to waste time on the inconsequential. Kirai, destroy him." Kirai fires her bow and arrow at Splinter, and he cuts the arrows out of the air easily. So Shredder sends in the rest of the Foot Clan, his army of ninjas. Splinter is tired and old, but he easily faces off with each of these ninjas. He wishes to live, to see his family again by all means necessary. He refuses to surrender. Once he drops the last ninja, he turns to Shredder. "Now shall we continue?" So Shredder sends in Olapex, his mutated snow fox. She's faster than he was expecting, so he plays on her emotions, reminding her of what she lost, reminding her that she had no choice to do what she did, and reminding her that she doesn't have to work for Shredder. This causes her to lose focus, and he prevails again, and then he once again turns to Shredder. "So, Oroku Saki, do we settle this now, master to master?" Meanwhile, back on the surface, the Turtles have teamed up with Casey Jones to drop a local gang and learn that there are these ninjas called the Foot roaming around. And Casey's friend Angel knows where they are. The ninjas sound just like the ones that kidnapped Splinter, so the turtles take off to go to their location. Time to stomp some foot. Back with Splinter, Shredder removes his cape, and Splinter and Shredder have their duel. Splinter can tell that Sakai is toying with him. He's grown tired, and the fatigue is setting in, and both men know that it's only a matter of time before Saki can defeat Splinter. And with that, Saki knocks Splinter down. Splinter can hear his body yelling at him to give in, that he has nothing more to give into this fight. But Splinter refuses to give in, and he takes a bow staff off the ground. He remembers his wife, his young boys, he remembers his past life, and it's what he needed to get back into this fight. Using the anger from his wife being murdered, Splinter manages to get one up on Shredder, and he forces him to take a knee. Enough, Shredder shouts as he breaks the bow staff and slams Splinter to the ground. As Shredder comes in for the kill, Splinter asks for forgiveness from his sons. But that's when the turtles finally arrive. They come crashing through a window. Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, Raphael, and begin to battle it out with the rest of the Foot, Apollux, and Karai. They begin to drop them all with ease because nothing can stop this family. After Raphael drops Apollux and Leonardo takes care of Karai, Donatello walks over to help their father up while Michelangelo takes out the Foot trying to stop them. But Shredder won't be so easily dispatched as Michelangelo jumps in a fight with him. You must all work together to fight against Sakai, my sons. Splinter manages to tell them. Sakai drops Michelangelo in a hurry, and then Donatello finds himself fighting Sakai solo. So Leonardo jumps in to defend his brother, and Splinter relays the same message to Leonardo. You must remember what I taught you. You must fight him as a team. Leonardo runs to his brothers. We need to fight him as a team! And Shredder stands before them. So Mutant, are you prepared to suffer my wrath once again? And then Leonardo thinks about it. Again? What are you? And then he sees the original Oroku Sakai from their past lives. You! Leonardo runs in, slicing across Shredder's chest, and then Michelangelo strikes him on the back, and Donatello knocks his helmet off, allowing Raphael to kick him into a wall. The turtles then grab their father and they flee out of the warehouse to fight another day. Casey Jones thanks Angel and her gang for their help, and tells them that he'll be around with his green friends if he's ever needed again. And over with Stockman, we find that he shot Hobbs for losing Splinter, and then he was kidnapped by Krang. It looks like Krang is done playing around and ready to launch his war. And once they finally get back to their new home, the turtles lay Splinter down on the couch, and everyone sits around worried about him. And when he wakes up, he sees his family, and he smiles. Thank you for joining me for part 2 of our Turtles series. We did do a little jumping around with this one. There's a whole bunch of story arcs that happen with Krang setting up what's going to happen next. But since they only really set up what's going to happen in the 4th volume, I didn't really want to touch on them, and I felt that the Shredder fight would have been more fun to explore. Make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Comicstorian, and check out these other great videos on the screen. You just might like them. I'm Benny, and I'll see you guys next time right here.